All right, and welcome to Fast Break Breakfast NBA Podcast. My name is Keith Parrish, and I'm here once again with my buddy through the miracle of computer phone. I'm here with Dave DeFore. Dave, how you doing?
I'm good. You know, now that we probably talk to people more on video than on a regular phone.
Yeah.
Still feel like it's a miracle? Or do you wish we went back to regular phone calls instead of...
I wasn't prepared for this question, Dave. I have a lot of notes for the show. I wasn't prepared for that one. It's still, we're talking to each other.
I know.
We see each other. We're thousands of miles away. It's a miracle, Dave. It's unbelievable. There's no lag. There's probably a lag, but like we are in real time communicating. I don't have to wait a solid 2 seconds for you to stop talking. And I'm like, oh wait, now he's done. You don't have to say over like we're talking on a walkie-talkie.
I don't have to tap a series of...
You know what's incredible? This video camera technology is better than the NBA's broadcast technology.
Way better.
When it comes to local streams. The FanDuel audio was off by, I'm not going to exaggerate. I'm not going to say it's a full second off. It might have been 0.3 of a second off, but it was enough. When I'm staring at the sideline reporter, the words are not close to matching up with him moving his lips. I'm watching this game and I'm like, it's enough time for me to be like, that's a foul. And then it turned out they actually already blew the whistle. Or I'm like, where's the call? Oh, it's
this
a whistle.
Is every night for me, Keith. I think, and right before we started recording, you said I probably needed to reset my cookies. Probably. It must be. Often I will launch the NBA app and it's yesterday's games.
Dave, do you know how many times I logged in on my Roku on my NBA app? How many times did I have to enter my password yesterday?
And then my cable provider.
It was like 4 times.
You need the other one.
I didn't know if it was because it was games. On NBA League Pass, it was a special weekend where I think it was free as long as you had an NBA account set up. And every time I went there, it was like free NBA ID week. What's your ID? I'm like, I was already watching the whoever. I can't remember. Like, what was the first game of the day? It's like, I already watched the game today.
You got my email.
Yeah. Oh man. Old men complain about the miracle of technology. I'm not complaining about the miracle of this phone.
No,
this video technology. Also, like the lag. Sometimes my recording program, I have the monitor on so I can hear myself talk to make sure nothing else came out weird. But every now and then my computer gets overloaded and then there's a delay. And then it's like I'm watching FanDuel TV. Then I have to go in and have to mute it because I can't talk. If I hear an echo of myself talking a second after I talk, it's insane.
It's a disaster.
Anyways, Dave, actually, you know what I was doing before we logged on here? I was trying to figure out if Kling Klong is an official. Is that an official nickname of Donovan Clingan?
I think it is.
Okay. Because I was thinking about the Trail Blazers.
I think the Blazers fans have been yelling that. Is it on Basketball Reference?
That's actually what I was looking up and I got distracted. He doesn't have any nicknames listed.
Surprised you don't have editing powers at Basketball Reference. Like Wikipedia.
Yeah, I really should.
I mean, that feels like an oversight.
Yeah.
Honestly, Keith, if you were like the secret owner of Basketball Reference, I would not be shocked.
I will say they do a great job.
They're really good.
I have very few notes. My biggest note,
ads, but that's, name of the game.
No, my biggest note for Basketball Reference is when I go over to StatHead, which is like the same thing. I'm like, why don't you have my searches saved? I want to have a search that's just called iShop. I want to go in there and it knows I'm doing my International Stackhouse of Pancakes. Show me all the terrible box scores from the last 7 days. I should just have a button I press. I shouldn't have to manually go in.
Basketball Reference, I'm assuming their API is public. You know what, Keith? Feel like we can get this done for you.
Somebody do this for me.
We can automate this for you very easily.
No, I was thinking about the Portland Trail Blazers this week because the Portland Trail Blazers, after getting humiliated by my Grizzlies, showed a bit of a pulse. They beat the Timberwolves in consecutive games. They came back against the Hawks, against our Dyson Daniels. Shadon Sharp had a great game, but I'm thinking about Donovan Clingan. I'm like, surely his name is Kling Klong. And I assume almost every listener knowing or knows this already because
Yeah.
they watch college basketball. And I don't, and I'm just like, man, that should be his nickname.
Yeah.
But
You know something else about that 3-0 streak they're on?
what is that?
No DeAndre Ayton
Oh, would you look at that?
and no Anthony Simons.
Yeah, all of a sudden, Delano Banton, the closer, is
Very
playing.
funny.
I like Delano Banton.
Yeah.
I like he's like a Sean Livingston who can score.
A little bit, yeah.
That's just like appearance wise, height wise, tall point guards. Who doesn't love a tall point guard? Yeah, Robert Williams, Time Lord, is back playing. I think he played in 2 of those 3 games.
Yeah,
he's like 82% from the field this season.
Second game the Wolves lost to them, Rob Williams didn't play.
Who would have thunk that a clinging Time Lord front court might be more effective than DeAndre Ayton? Anyways,
Clinging's just solid. He knows where to be.
Let's get into our breakfast and then we'll get right to the basketball. Are you still on a pumpkin oatmeal? Because that's people are reaching out. They want to know recipes now.
People want the recipe.
They want to know where
oatmeal.
You're buying it, and you're like, no.
I mean, it's just a can of pumpkin. The same stuff I give my dog. You know, I mix it into the oatmeal that I pop in the microwave. The rolled oats or whatever.
You're the Arnold Schwarzenegger character at the beginning of many movies where he's just like, he's like he's cracking eggs into the smoothie. You're taking a can of pumpkins, you're dumping it into your microwave oatmeal, just blending it up. Your dog's at your feet. You throw some of the dog's bowl.
Yeah. And I grab my handful of mixed berries, frozen mixed berries.
8 raw eggs.
No, you know what? I stopped eating eggs, Keith. But yes, but a lot of oats. The oatmeal is great. And then I had a banana. Big breakfast. Big breakfast.
Here's where I'm at. My in-laws are coming over to babysit the kids after I get home from work later today. So I have to clean. I gotta clean up, and like wipe off the counters and clean the bathrooms. And I had done a lot of it. I like pre-cleaned, and then I'm like, I haven't eaten anything today. And normally I make a smoothie on Monday. Normally a big smoothie. I'm like, I don't have the 5 minutes to clean up my smoothie mess. Like I can't put it in the dishwasher. I got to hand wash the stuff. I'm like, you know what? Not doing it. So I had a deconstructed smoothie. Oh, which is just meaning I just ate normal food.
Salad?
No, it's mean I just ate normal food. I ate the banana by itself. I ate some strawberries and blackberries by themselves. Had a little bit of yogurt. So that was it. Which is just a normal breakfast. I mean, very fruit flavored.
Good way to do it.
Yeah.
So
deconstructed smoothie, aka real food. I ate solid food today. Monday, November 18th. Anyways, Dave, those were our breakfasts. After our breakfast, we moved to our breakfast in bed. Apologies. This is our chance to make right what we might have gotten wrong in a previous episode. Frequently the first time we talk about the NBA, but we had Trailblazer Hour just already.
I know.
Here's an apology. Last episode, I teased something earlier in the show that I didn't pay off at the end of the show. Because there'd been a listener submitted question from Patreon supporter Mike F. demanding, was less a question than a demand, but all right, you're a Patreon supporter. We hear your demand. Demanding that my power ranking tiers have serial names. I mean, at the very least, they're like, listen, you're a breakfast themed podcast. How badly are you mailing this in that you didn't give your tiers breakfast themes and or cereal tiers? So I was planning to do it last episode. I said I was going to do it. Then when we got to the end of the show, I was like, I gotta get out of here. And I forgot. So Dave, I think to start, I don't want to spend a lot of time on it because cereal rankings, it's a little bit of it's a trope, I feel like, and it's a little tired, but because Mike F has demanded it,
and in case anybody's worried, this is not a draft of cereal.
Oh, no, we're not.
We're not infringing on any...
taking anyone's IP. This is not a cereal draft. But if you were to have a draft board for a hypothetical cereal draft, this is where I'm not sure. I feel like there's somewhat consensus in the world. I mean, are not Cinnamon Toast Crunch kind of a thought of as one of the best cereals? I was thinking that would be my top tier.
It's thought of that way. Sure.
You don't have any pushback? I mean, we have to have some ground rules. I feel like
Cinnamon Toast Crunch is probably I think you would get more people to say that was their favorite than any other.
That's on Family
Yeah.
Feud rules. Cinnamon
Yeah.
Toast Crunch might come up number one.
Yeah.
What are the other Family Feud? What's the best cereal? What are the other 100 people
Cocoa
asked?
Puffs, Cookie Crisp, Cocoa Puffs,
I
Fruity
don't like
Pebbles.
Cookie Crisp. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I mean, I'm thinking for other people.
no, I don't.
I've
Don't
never
do
been
that.
a big cereal guy.
Don't. This is not the. Yeah. This is not the. What do you think other people think you should say?
Well,
What
it
do you
is,
actually? What's
Family
your?
Feud is the game.
You're right. You're right. What's your favorite cereal? Is it something weird?
I mean, I liked grape nuts as a kid.
So I like
yes.
grape nuts, but I know they're controversial.
Yeah, but I
thought grape nuts might be somewhere in the middle of a power ranking.
I think they're at the bottom for most people.
How do you
Raisin Bran as a kid? That was like,
here are my least favorites. This is what I was putting for the bottom, which I don't know. Again, if this is shocking to everyone, I don't feel like we could go with it.
Yeah.
It's what if other people disagree? I think frosted mini wheats are gross.
They are awful.
They're horrible.
They're awful.
I think part of it is the fake out when you see the frosting and you're like,
Yeah.
ooh, sugar cereal. And you're like, no, this is just, ugh.
Powdered sugar also.
Yeah. I think Cracklin' Oat Bran is disgusting.
Yes. Yeah. Tastes like grass.
I don't know where to put like your basic Rice Krispie Frosted Flakes Cheerios. That's what I ate as a kid.
That's like the play-in.
That's the middle tier.
Yeah,
I think Cheerios are good food. Yeah.
They're fine, but most people, like kids, are trying to put sugar on that.
Yeah. We were allowed a spoonful of sugar. Mary Poppins style.
Insane.
Not like a whole, but like your bowl of Cheerios, you could sprinkle in.
I know.
Frosted Flakes. Wait, are you adding anything to your grape nuts or just as the Lord made them?
Just how they came.
Wow.
Yeah.
I also like Golden Grams a lot. I think they're a top tier cereal.
Yeah, pretty good.
Raisin Nut Bran. Is that a big enough cereal to be considered? Because I think that's one that's
Bran?
It's it's Raisin Nut Bran. It's like they have these weird little raisin orbs made out of nuts and raisins.
Yeah. So, that thing. I remember that. Yeah.
So I didn't know what all to do. So like, here's my also controversial opinion. I said I don't like Cookie Crisp. I don't like Fruity Pebbles.
Oh, see now. I don't. What about Captain Crunch?
I don't like Captain Crunch either. I think all of those have and this is from someone addicted to sugar. I think those have a weird sugary chemical flavor of just like, what is this?
The fake fruit.
It's not even fruit flavored. It's just a weird, its own thing. I don't love it.
How do you make banana flavor without banana?
Yeah. So I don't know. Corn Pops?
That's like a classic. Yeah.
I think
that's what we're got to be, right?
All right. So what is it? What do we name the bad tier? What's like bad without honor? Is that Cracklin' Oat Bran? Like what even goes there?
I don't even know.
This is the problem with the cereal names.
Is hard.
It's too hard.
It's too hard.
Like, where do I put
It's subjective. We're the only two people that like grape nuts.
Where do I put your Detroit Pistons, who are now 7-8?
They're in the
play-in ceiling. They've joined up with the Hawks, I think.
Which is like honorable, right? Like
they were bad with honor.
Are good for your heart.
But I think they've moved out of bad with honor.
Yeah.
But like, what cereal screams bad with honor? Raisin Bran? I mean, I don't know what to do.
Cheerios.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what to give it. The Cinnamon Toast Crunch is the Cavaliers at 15-0 playing the Celtics on Tuesday night. NBA Cup. Incredible action. The NBA has let us know this is the first time, I think this was in 29 years, that a defending champ has played a team that's won 15 in a row or more.
Yeah. Huge game.
So we're expecting the Celtics to end.
Oh, I think Celtics are going to win the game.
I assume the Celtics will be favored.
Yeah. I mean, the
Celtics haven't had, of course, no Porzingis. Like Drew Holiday's been sitting out some games.
Yeah. It's in Boston, though. And I think the Celtics, Not that they're not locked in, but I think we haven't really seen them be up for a game since opening night, and I want to see what it looks like. I think the Cavs are like Joe Mazzulla is really the most interesting character for the Celtics to me leading into this because I'm curious what buttons he's trying to push. That guy is actually, I don't know. I've changed my mind about Mazzulla. I think Mazzulla is actually like really good, not just
Yeah.
as a coach, but I think like behind the scenes, really good. He's got the Celtics in a good spot. But I think they are catching the Cavs at the right time. 15 straight is hard.
Yeah,
16 is even harder,
it's
right? Like
impressive. It's impressive.
16, getting the 16th one is harder than the first 15.
So the Celtics, they were not focused in their first play-in game though.
No.
I mean, excuse me, not play-in, the
NBA Cup.
NBA Cup.
Well, it's the Hawks. They distract. There's something about the Hawks that just it causes Boston to just lose their mind.
Are you feeling as much pride as I am when it comes to Dyson Daniels and the Hawks? Because we talked about him early. I was just like, this guy's great. And then it was like, have you seen the deflections? And he just keeps pulling off the 6 steal games just over and over and over. Sometimes a guy will, have like a little drop off. I actually use this to my advantage, Dave. Here's how I used my podcasting to my personal gain. Last week, I was talking about Ochai Agbaji being a good player.
Mm-hmm.
And someone in our negative fantasy league and our Patreon supporter negative fantasy league dropped Ochai Agbaji. And I'm like, you're dropping a guy who gets like 35 minutes a game, who isn't going to be this good all year.
Oh, so
so I rostered him. I scooped him up. I'm like, my team's not that great. I got to get some players. Mm-hmm. So I feel like talking up Agbaji maybe got somebody to drop him in our negative fantasy league.
He's too good for fantasy.
And this is a 40 team league. We're talking every player's rostered. I'm like, you dropped the guy who gets 35 minutes? Give me that guy. So I think that helped me out. But Dyson Daniels did not.
It's like insider trading.
It's not correct. It's not ethical. No, this is not an ethical show. But I feel a lot of pride that our talk of Dyson Daniels was not too over the top. He's carried it on.
Okay, but I do wish that the team defense was better, and that includes Dyson Daniels. You get a lot of steals, get a lot of deflections. Also, got to do your job. So I would like to see that team defense be a little bit better, and maybe that means he's not. He's getting 3 deflections, not 7.
There's there's no downside to a deflection.
No, it's not the deflection. It's the missed deflections.
I'm not saying I don't feel like Dyson Daniels is overly gambling for I understand you can say the steal thing
as it is about Trae Young, right? Like he has to be like essentially he has to guard the opposing team's best offensive player with the ball in their hands.
Yeah.
And he has to play passing lanes behind Trae Young. Yeah. And Trae Young's going to gamble. And he's got to, you know what I mean? It's just a big job. And he's been great.
Is your new anti-deflection stance some kind of Klay Thompson?
No, it's not it's no
defending?
Klay Thompson defense.
Listen, Klay Thompson doesn't deflect the basketball because he's in the right spot.
I just want to see that team defend better. They have the tools. Like, I don't understand why they're not better at playing defense. They've got like 3 super long arm guys who are interchangeable on the wing. Mm-hmm. Capella might be cooked, but when Okongwu is out there, they look, better. I think they should be better than they are.
You are right that they look like a physically intimidating, dominant, long, athletic team. Yeah. Where you're like, why aren't y'all better at defense?
Like one. Yeah.
I mean, a lot of it, Reece Shea is a rookie.
Sure.
But yeah, with the size and length they throw out there, you're like, whoa, that should be amazing.
Yeah.
But
so I am individually impressed with Dyson Daniels. I'm less impressed with the Hawks.
What about Larry Nance being 14 for 21 on 3-pointers this season?
He's amazing. Can we get him to a contender?
He still barely plays.
It makes no sense to me.
How's he not on the Thunder? Can the Thunder not work out how to get Larry Nance? Where were we? Oh, I was just apologizing. Oh, yeah. we didn't come up with our cereal. It's impossible.
It is impossible.
No one can agree on what the cereals are called.
You got to outsource this one.
Yeah, I guess. But I guess I'll talk more about the power rankings into the show. Dave,
Got to do a poll on Slack.
There we go. What do you think is the most exciting thing? We can just take the next best thing. What's the best thing from the last week? Is it just that the Cavs are the best team we've ever seen? I'm a little bit more excited about the Pistons getting respectable, but what's
seven defense?
What's your best thing that you've seen?
It's been quite a week.
Yep.
Wemby had that crazy 50-point game.
Oh man,
got 8 million threes. Giannis scored 59 and literally dragged the Bucks to an overtime win, and then they lost to the Hornets. I mean, it's been.
The Bucks are dead, right?
They are just toast.
4-9.
All right, Keith. This is where I'm missing Nerder.
Taurean Prince is leading the NBA in 3-point percentage, and you're 4-9.
This is where I miss Nerder, because this week we would be talking about organizational pivots really hard. And if you're the Bucks, this is a championship season or bust for the Bucks. Like Giannis was saying this before the season. That's not hyperbole. John Horst is probably out after this year. Who even knows about Doc right now? Damian Lillard's 35. Brooke is what, 37? Giannis is 30. Bobby Portis is what, 32?
He's like,
Chris Middleton is 33. This is the last year. This is it. And when you get off to a 4-9 start, no one sees this as a championship level team. They have no assets to go out and get any pieces. Keith, if this was a baseball team, Damian Lillard would be traded at the trade deadline, no doubt. They would just be like, all right, see ya. And you start the reboot. Andre Jackson looks like a pretty good player. Like, I think he's going to wind up being good or decent. He's an athlete. It's striking when you see a guy who can run at the same speed as Giannis.
I don't know what they're supposed to do.
They got to pivot.
Well, there's no pivot.
What about a Herschel Walker type of trade with Giannis where you hit up OKC and you say, send me.
You don't ever give up. For me, you don't ever give up Giannis. Just ever. Like you won your title. He's still one of the best players in the NBA. He's still leading the NBA in points per minute. Like, he's still one of the best players there is.
You don't give him up even next summer? Like, no. Not this coming year, but
I would never give him up. I've been following the Nashville Major League Soccer team, and they had a horrible year. And I don't know anything about player movement or rebuilds in non-NBA sports. And I was talking to some other soccer friends who know much more about it than me. Yeah. And I'm like, do teams get rid of their best players who are old? Because, like, if Nashville soccer's team, if they were an NBA team, they would trade away this guy, Hani Mukhtar. They would trade away Walker Zimmerman. These are like big name soccer guys where it's like, we're not going anywhere. You would trade those for picks. But in soccer, like, picks are kind of useless. Like, you don't find it. So your goal is to compete and to win as many games as you can. Thus, there's no reason. And also with the weird salary structure of the MLS, as best I understand it, you can't trade guys who are on these designated players salary, like the guys making a ton of money. You can't even trade them. So I'm like, oh, honestly, that's beautiful. Because why would you trade your good players? Just ride them until they're done. And, like, I feel like for Hall of Fame legend type guys, like, I'm totally into it. I mean, I know that the Trailblazers.
You're just fine with them leaving.
I mean, I'm fine with waiting, like, Trailblazer style with Damian Lillard. Yeah. Good job. Okay. Great. You finally did it. But if Dame wanted to stay there, it's possible to rebuild around people. And I think, honestly, the Bucks maybe in a couple of years could get back to being good again. My whole thing is, you're never going to get these players this good again. Man. It's real bad.
And they're not going to get back what they paid for Dame. They probably missed the boat on getting much for Brooke.
Yeah.
Chris Middleton, again, bilateral ankle surgery.
We're a month into this season. And they were acting like Chris Middleton was going to be there for the start of the season.
Yeah. Still
not here. My weird Grizzlies brain thing I was pushing, I was like, a month ago, I was like, I would trade Marcus Smart for Chris Middleton. And Doc Rivers would love Marcus Smart.
Wow.
And Marcus Smart's probably, I mean, he's healthy right now and he makes less than Chris Middleton. But for me, as a Grizzlies fan, I'm like, if Marcus Smart's healthy, Are the Grizzlies winning a playoff series this year? I don't really think so. But the risk would be if Chris Middleton's healthy, I don't know what the odds are. I think your odds of winning a playoff series go way up. So maybe
up.
So just because of the roster fit for the Grizzlies, and should the Bucks be trading for other old players? I don't know, but it gives them a free lifeline. What's the downside? There's no downside to me. So I don't know, but yeah, I don't know. You're right. It's hard for me. I assume all the Miami Heat interest, like, has that sailed in Damian Lillard?
I can't imagine. I can't.
What are the Heat up to? The Heat aren't doing anything.
The Heat are. That's a disgusting team to watch sometimes.
Well, Jimmy Butler is like Kawhi with better PR.
Yes.
Whereas Jimmy's
without a title too, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what the Heat are supposed to do. No,
look at the Sixers. Embiid's gonna not play tonight, right?
The Sixers have lost 7 of 8.
Yeah. They're 2-10. They're probably gonna wind up losing tonight, just because they look so bad. But Jared McCain has found money for them, right? So again, organizational pivot, not like, hey, it was built around Jared McCain, but it's okay, look, we got to start thinking about things.
I would say among all the storylines of Giannis scoring 59, of De'Aaron Fox scoring 60
and 49
and 109 points in back-to-back games, the most since Kobe in 2 games. Maybe the storyline of the week, I guess it's in losses, so you don't count it, but it's just Jerry McCain being like,
he's been great.
Oh my goodness. That guy's been incredible. He shot past Jalen Wells on the Kia rookie ladder, Dave. It's not updated. I just assume that's going to happen. Jerry McCain's been incredible. I guess going back to the Bucks and going back to the Sixers, right now the Eastern Conference affords you infinite patience.
Yeah.
Because there's no way to get eliminated. If the season ended today, the Nets and the Hornets are in the play-in.
Rightfully. They've been scrappy to start the season.
They have been.
Both of them have beaten the Bucks.
The Bucks are 4-9 and just a few games out of being 5th. The Pistons are up to 5th at 7-8.
When you go down the list in the standings, right? The number of teams that just feel like they're down.
Yeah.
Right in the East. Orlando. Okay. Orlando is actually, in spite of Paolo being out, I feel very good about Orlando. The Knicks have had some flashes, but their defense to me is an issue. I'm up on the Pistons. I'm down on the Pacers. I'm kind of up on the Hawks. I'm down on the Heat. I'm kind of up on the Hornets. Brooklyn is kind of fun. It's very interesting, just like the ebbs and flows. Like the teams that we thought were going to be so much worse, I think have been overperforming here early.
Yeah.
And then you got the Bucks and the Sixers, who we thought, well, the Sixers, it was all about health, and we were beating that drum. But I didn't think the Bucks were going to come out of the gate this bad.
So the Sixers, 2-9 is just spectacular. I still kind of believe in the Pacers. I feel like the Pacers they've obviously struggled. Halliburton's been up and down, but like Nimhard's out.
Turner's been not very good.
Aaron Nesmith's been out. I think those are important players for them. The Magic. I was trying to get a handle on the Magic, Dave. Since Ben Carroll went down, Franz Wagner has kicked it into overdrive.
Yep.
They have won 5 games in a row, all at home, mind you.
And some light opponents.
Well, that goes without saying. The Magic have won 5 games at home in a row. In those games, Franz Wagner averaging 28.4 points per game. So Wagner has been killing it. But this team, so what is it? 8-0 at home? 7-0. Excuse me. Let me get it exactly right.
7-0 at home.
7-0 at home, meaning they're 1-6 on the road. They're 7-3 against the East, 1-3 against the West. Their one win was over the Pelicans. Top 3 scorers on the Pelicans that game: Brandon Boston, Jose Alvarado, and Jeremiah Robinson Earl. This also goes to the East versus West mismatch.
Yeah.
The West winning percentage against the East right now, we're up to 71%.
Wow.
So that's what was the record? Was it 67?
67, something
so
like
yeah.
that.
So right now the West is 71% winning percentage playing the East. So
That's
like the
absurd.
Magic, even going back to last year, I think they've won 15 straight games at home.
Yeah.
They win at home, they lose on the road. That has them right now third in the East because they're 8-6.
Sounds like home court advantage in the East.
Are they any good? I have no idea. They might actually be kind of mediocre. But
I would say this, and one of those games they didn't have Jalen Suggs.
Yeah.
I would say this. I think that when you lose you by far and away your best player and primary offensive initiator, this is a good sign to even beat the bad teams. And
sure.
Especially for Orlando. And in the East, this is going to give them like a nice they're banking some wins.
Little cushion.
Not their best player.
Yeah.
And I think that this is obviously a good sign to win any game. But this is a really good sign that they're winning games, and it's with Franz Wagner leading the way, because when Paolo gets back and he gets to slide into that sort of secondary role, they're going to be able to sit Paolo and run more stuff with Franz and the bench, which kind of disappeared when his jumper wasn't working.
Yeah, what I've seen of them, I've been impressed. It's when I got into those splits, those home road, and then those east-west, I was like, oh, I don't know if we know anything about this team. I think Suggs is just a fantastic player.
He's good.
I'm a really big fan of Jalen Suggs, even though he will show up in the awards segment of the program later.
Vindication for Mo DeKeel.
Later today. Anyways, Dave, let's take a quick break, then we'll come back. Maybe with some things we don't like as much over the last week. All right, Dave, I'm going to do a cream of wheat worst of week. Maybe this is a good thing for you. Malcolm Brogdon made his season debut on Sunday. Congratulations to Malcolm Brogdon.
Yeah, good for you.
What's the analogy of Malcolm Brogdon? He is the asset, the unflippable asset. People are like, oh yeah, we'll throw in Malcolm Brogdon. I'll sell him for something.
He's like the rights to Nando De Colo.
He's like something that I see at a thrift store where I'm like, oh wow, that record's worth $40. It's only $8 here. I'll buy it. And then it's like, oh, I never sold that record. I don't even know how to sell.
Why is this record constantly scratched?
Yeah, I have it now. I have this. I spent $8 on this scratched record. I'm never going to sell it.
I didn't even play this record, and it got new scratches.
No, Malcolm Brogdon played. He scored 1 point, and the Wizards lost. The Wizards.
I have people look.
Yeah,
I'm hitting and unfortunately, sadly, Mike Conley is cooked, and I've been kind of banging that drum a little bit the last few days, and people were like, "Oh, could Minnesota be a Malcolm Brogdon team? For what?
What?
For what?
What does that even mean?" Mike Conley's he played a great game last week. Was it the he actually had a good right? he actually had a good game where he almost had like a double-double, had a bunch of steals.
This is where he's at. It's like 1 out of 3 games is okay. Yeah. And he's targeted, anyway, Malcolm Brogdon.
Here's the only good thing about Malcolm Brogdon coming back, but it's bad for me. The Jacques Watch remains dead. However, Malcolm Brogdon might be our only hope. He missed all 3 of his field goal attempts. So the Jacques Watch right now to see which player has a chance of missing their first 22 field goal attempts of the season.
Yeah.
All we're hoping for right now.
In 2 weeks when he plays his next game, we'll see if he can continue the streak.
The Wizards, man, they threw us off the scent by beating the Hawks in those games where Kuzma didn't play. Now they are just they're horrific. The Raptors have a worse record. The Raptors are at least tanking with style. Okay.
I think they're tanking without honor. They had a 10-point lead in a game, and it's just like, hey, you take the ball and drive directly in the defense. It was like the coaching staff said
they would have won. It was Jason Tatum. It's a buzzer beater at the 30-foot buzzer beater.
Yeah.
After the traveling, the end of game calls too.
How many overtime games has Toronto lost so far?
It feels like a lot.
3 or 4?
They've played good teams. I know the Nuggets and the Celtics, they played good teams down to the wire. They're ahead. They lose the lead at the end. No, the last 2-minute reports on these, like, yeah, we missed the game changing call. The Bucks one, like Doc
The
Rivers got
Bucks one
fined
is
for it.
hilarious.
LaMelo Ball falls over. I don't understand. I understand when things happen off the ball and you're like, oh, this guy flailed out of the corner of my eye. I'm pretty sure I saw what I saw, but then it turns out, no, I was wrong. Or, hey, we missed this foul in the paint because like there was a bunch of shoving and it was a final play of the game and we weren't 100% certain. So we don't want to blow our whistle. But when it's the best player with the ball and they
In one
fall
of the
over,
in one of the spots on the court where the referees allegedly have the best sight
yeah,
line,
it's just like,
actually.
yeah, it was just out
It
clear,
wasn't
plain
in
as
it wasn't in
day.
the far corner. It wasn't up by half court. It wasn't in the middle of the paint. It was on the side of the lane. I don't know. There is a thing, Keith, and we've talked about this for years now, where if you're just geared up to blow the whistle, like if
Yeah.
that's your default, that hey, I'm ready to blow the whistle. When something happens, you're blowing the whistle on the action.
Yeah.
They blow the whistle on LaMelo falling. Period. It wasn't. There was no. I mean, there was no contact, but they just blow the whistle because he fell, and it's rewarded time and time and time again. It's why Lou Dort, anytime someone makes contact with him, it looks like he's getting, a shotgun shell to the chest.
Yeah. I will say there's a couple of guys now, and we've seen it. I've talked about it before on this new replay rule where you challenge the out of bounds. We keep seeing these proximate fouls being called.
Yeah.
And I keep getting when I'm watching all these Grizzlies games, it keeps being like Santi Aldama and Scottie Pippen Jr. saying, challenge the call, challenge the call. Every time I'm like, it's going to be a proximate foul on you.
Yeah.
It's going to be a foul on you, buddy. Like I know so-and-so ended up knocking the ball out, but when we go to the replay, they're going to see that you grabbed him or you shoved
Right.
him. Yeah.
I actually think that would be a great way to create a cooling effect for challenge, right?
That's what I'm saying. That was my hope that these coaches are going to understand. I can't challenge these calls because all these proximate fouls, because we end up losing the challenge and then insult to injury and now my player picks up a foul.
Yeah.
I want to see. The NFL has nailed this. The replay assist, where it's just the guys watching TV at home.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, I can clearly see within 20 seconds that call was missed. Let's just change it.
Usually the broadcast sees it
Yeah.
before the referees have even walked over to the thing. I'd be cool with
The
just,
NFL's
hey,
fixed it.
Mike Breen, what's the call?
I'm telling you, the NFL has it now, where the NFL just tells the referees, hey, it's not a penalty. And it's like they're not officially doing it on like pass interference and stuff,
Yeah.
but it's coming.
But how do you get a
it works.
2-hour-long basketball game to last 3 hours, Keith, if you don't have a 10-minute
NBA games
replay?
last as long as NFL games right now. You had, was it the Utah? There's a Utah Kings game. The final 2 minutes took 20 minutes.
Ain't nobody watching that.
But get rid of coaches' challenges. Make it all replay assist. Have
I agree.
have a couple of refs just sitting there watching TV and be like, that call's wrong. Change it.
Or just keep it moving.
Or just keep it moving.
Keep it moving.
Some of the rookies are heating up. We talked about Jared McCain, who's been amazing. The Lakers have won a bunch in a row in the last several games. A lot of it has been, I think, Dalton Connect adding just an extra offensive element.
Yeah.
To their starting lineup.
More than a shooter, by the way.
Yeah.
More than a shooter. If he can defend at an average level, he's gonna have a really good career. Obviously staying healthy, whatever. But he should be playing more. I think he should be starting for them.
Yeah.
He's a real threat. Opposing defenses are actually trying to find him in transition. So that's a huge, powerful weapon, especially when you got LeBron, who's so dangerous in transition. I like what they've got going on, at least with some of their pieces. I mean, Austin Reeves has been really good. I don't know about Rui, but yeah, I like what.
It's hard for me to say anything about Rui because he destroys the Grizzlies every single time he plays them.
Yeah,
he's
you guys
amazing.
Should trade for him.
He's a useful piece. It's not like a person where you're like, all right, this guy shouldn't be playing. Yeah. The Lakers are weird because like their point differential was so low for so long this year. And I felt like their fans were getting like, oh man, here we go again. But all of a sudden they've strung together these wins and maybe it is just hot shooting from Connect. Maybe that'll
and
go
some
away.
of it is who they're playing, right? Like if you look at the opponents that they've beaten, they've not really beaten anybody in this 5-game win streak. But I do like some of the ways in which that they've won, right? And LeBron had what, 4 straight triple doubles?
The oldest player to ever do that at age 39. Yeah.
That's crazy.
When I was thinking about this, the Sacramento Kings, the 60-point game.
Yeah.
The NBA's own account put out a thing that was like, they called it a 60 burger. Is 60 points a 60? I thought it was just a 50 burger. Can you have a 60 burger is my question, Dave.
Is it all burgers?
I just thought it was 50 burger. I don't even know what a 50 burger is, but I thought 50 burger, I'm used to that. I didn't know you could do 60.
I don't know. I'd not heard it. I'll have to text the guy. let me see if I can get an answer.
The Grizzlies, Wizards, Spurs, and Bulls have never won an NBA Cup game. However, the worst NBA Cup point differential belongs to the Hornets, who actually did win one last year. Who are your Cup favorites? Who's looking at the Lakers? Never lost a Cup game in group play. They're hanging on. Your Pistons are cooking because they're 2-0 in the Cup.
Right now, man, it's who's taking this seriously. I know that like this is year 2 and they're all supposed to be, but it feels like already there's some teams saying not this year. I think, look, Boston losing that game last week is actually a big deal. I think they're about to go on a tear in the Cup. Like they're my favorites to win the Cup.
I mean, they're you would get good odds for them right now, I think, Dave, because they
lost that first one.
Because they lost the first one. They have, I mean, essentially the game on Tuesday against the Cavaliers, that's an elimination game for the Celtics. You dropped to 0-2, you're done. So the Cavs 1-0 in their group. This is East Group C we're talking about. The Hawks 2-0 in that group, impressively. So I'd say you get some good odds. This is the next level betting right here. Find the team that lost their first group play game and then go see if the casinos will give you some good odds for those teams. We got the Knicks and the Magic undefeated 2-0 in Group A. The Warriors, who did not give one lick about their point differential playing the Grizzlies. They're 2-0 in Group C. They were up by like 20 something. And then the Grizzlies left all their good players out there and cut the lead to 5 to end the game. And Steph's on an exercise bike. Like, yeah, whatever. We're good. Draymond did you see this? Draymond got ejected from this game.
Yeah.
Draymond promised to get less technical fouls this year. That's not happening. But also retroactively, they went back and gave Draymond a flagrant foul. The referee
rightfully.
I mean, obviously the referees did not see him tackling Zach Edey. Also, Dave, all right, Zach Edey didn't have the ball, so I guess there's a reason to maybe not see this happen. But to be fair, Draymond used like his elbow. It's not like he grabbed him with his arm. He really just traps him with his armpit and elbow. I mean, this is like next level dirty play. I mean, it was an obviously dirty play.
Literally the dirtiest player in the game.
I can't get over, for a league that loves reviewing things, they had to see the largest player in the NBA fall over.
It was like a tree fell.
Yeah, and you see Draymond on the ground. You can put 2 and 2 together, even if you don't blow the foul in the moment. If the whole Grizzlies coaching,
Yuki wasn't out there to be underneath Zach Edey.
Oh man, if the whole Grizzlies coaching staff is like, that's a flagrant foul, you got to go look at it, and they're like, oh, we don't believe you. Draymond accused of flagrant foul. Yeah, we don't believe you. We can't see it. But no, that was a perfect Draymond game. Flagrant foul, 2 tech ejection. Also played amazingly well.
And the Warriors won.
And the Warriors win. Let's now, Dave, let's answer a single listener submitted question. This is the croissant.
Any questions?
Questioner.
Yes. Are you going to finish that croissant?
Knock yourself out.
All right, Dave. This question is from the question master, Magnus. And I hope you can answer it because I don't know what it means. Magnus says, please give us notable Tinker stinker examples in NBA coaching history.
Oh man. So this is from the NBA Daily. We were talking about how Mark Dagnall as a coach is going to have to tinker, right? To work around no bigs.
Okay.
And sometimes when you're tinkering, you can mess things up, right? It gives you a little tinker stinker. Usually it's like a chemistry thing, usually. Although with what Oklahoma City's got, I mean, when you've got a 6'5" guy like Jalen Williams who can give you backline rim protection like that, and they had experience already. So I don't know how much tinkering he's really got to do because they already know what they're doing. But as far as like just making changes that don't make any sense, Keith, I mean, you probably are more in tune with that, right? Like, because I'm okay with experiments failing, right? I don't necessarily like, trying guys out in the starting lineup, for instance, is tinkering, but like with a purpose during regular season. But more schematic things like the Warriors sometimes like they'll trap a guy and it just doesn't make any sense. But then you have to think about it a little bit. But as far as tinkering with lineup stuff, Keith, you might be more plugged in on rotational changes than I am.
Yeah.
Day to
I mean,
day,
this is
week to
interesting.
week.
This is interesting trying to think of the things that don't work.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if they
don't
stick in your head. I think you think about playing, like where the Timberwolves as an organization went to the double big when they traded for Rudy Gobert, and you're like, oh, that's a tinker. And then maybe the first year, like kind of a stinker because that wasn't great, but then it turned out great the subsequent year. When I first think of the big tinkerings, my thought is teams much like the Thunder being forced into playing small ball or something. I think one of the great ones that sticks in my mind is the Suns in the early 90s. This was not necessarily because of any injuries or anything. They just looked at their squad and said, all of our best players are guards. Screw it. We're just going to play all guards. And it worked for a while. I mean, it was a good regular season run. They lost in the first round of the playoffs doing it. So I don't know.
Like for instance, Steve Kerr is not, I don't think Steve Kerr is a huge like tinkerer game to game.
Mm-hmm.
He's more month to month.
Well, so I was thinking about something Steve Kerr did that I saw you not be a fan of on social media. He was playing a really ratty, dirty, nasty lineup without shooters.
Yes.
And you were like, this is gross. I was like, oh, these guys got a dog in them. I'm good.
Yeah, sure.
I'm like, I'm good.
Still got to score the basketball.
There's no spacing, and it's like Kuminga out there with a bunch of non-shooters. And like, you know what? This is a tinker. Maybe it's a tinker stinker.
Maybe.
Didn't really bug me. No, the tinker stinker. Taylor Jenkins.
Exactly.
You have Marcus Smart, Desmond Bane, and Vince Williams Jr. all available. What if none of them start? Well, that's a tinker.
Right. Because like my thing is there are times where you are looking for stuff, but what are you looking for?
Also, you have things where it's like I understand how you get in these situations, and it's hard to say I would do differently or anybody else would do any differently. But like you're in a weird situation where you've been shorthanded for so long, and you're like, Jay Huff's been playing amazing. What if we start Jay Huff this next game? And it's like, let's start Jay Huff against Anthony Davis. And then during the game, you're like, this is going terribly. This is a tinker stinker. Maybe we should not have started Jay Huff against Anthony Davis. And it's like, Jalen Wells, he's been so good. The Kia rookie ladder has him ranked so high. Let's just leave him in there. And it's like, he is a second round rookie. Maybe let's play Desmond Bane in the starting lineup.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
No, but you get like the general idea.
Yeah.
Like I like to work on cars, right? I like to tinker, and every now and then you mess things up.
For the tinkering of the Thunder, they lost to the Mavericks in a no Luka Doncic game.
Oh, I saw this one coming as soon as I saw Luka on the injury, because the Mavericks without Luka, they move fast. They defend a little bit better. And
PJ Washington had 17 rebounds or something.
And I was going to say, and their bigs were able to play real big, moving fast and getting up and down against a smaller Thunder team. So I wasn't surprised at all.
Also, can we talk about maybe we should have talked about this. Could have been a cream of wheat worst thing. Luka Doncic's defense at the end of the game against the Jazz. I mean, first of all, they lost to the Jazz.
Right.
That is hard to do. However, they lost because like Luka's just not guarding John Collins on the final play of the game. Jordan Clarkson's looking at him. And it's kind of like, hey, wait, I think John Collins is wide open. I don't think Luka's looking. Oh, Luka's definitely not looking. I'm just going to throw it to John Collins for a dunk for the game winner.
Yeah, he wasn't looking because his knee hurt.
Sure.
That's why he had to miss the game. I mean, like, I don't know, man. It's disappointing to watch because it's not like he's not capable.
Yeah. The Mavericks, I don't know. I felt like they'd be better, but right now 7-7. But a huge win with no Luka on Sunday over the Thunder. Anyways, we can wrap up this.
Kyrie Irving, man.
Kyrie Irving's been so good. Also, do you think like I've noticed this in several teams where like players' injury status seems to change based on other guys' injury status? Here's an example. PJ Washington was doubtful for the game on Sunday. All of a sudden, Luka is out, and PJ's like, "Oh, I can go. Yeah, I'm making a bunch of minutes. Yeah, I'll play. Yeah, I'm good. I'm in." So I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of this where it's like so and so is out, but magically this player's now back. Like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I wonder when Zion comes back if Brandon Ingram will
just feel like I'm done now.
Yeah,
man, the poor Pelicans. The Pelicans are. I mean, that's a team.
That's cursed franchise at this point.
It does feel like. I mean, I don't know what you're supposed to do with that team. Brandon Ingram is even playing well.
Yeah, Brandon Ingram's been awesome, and somehow nobody wants him.
Yeah,
because he doesn't fit anywhere, including New Orleans.
I mean, can you trade Giannis for Zion? Ooh, how many Pelicans picks?
No.
I'm just kidding.
I don't think so.
What do you even do with the Zion? That's this whole episode. What does the team do with the Zion Williamson? I'm not sure what you're supposed to do there. Anyways, thanks for the question, Magnus. Us talking about the Tinker Stinkers.
Yeah, that's funny. Hey, and thanks for listening to the other show.
There you go. Don't listen to that show. Listen to this show. No. Thank you, Magnus.
Listen to them both at the same time.
If you want your question answered on air, you have to be a Patreon supporter. Do that at patreon.com/fastbreakbreakfast. If you join up over there, not only can you submit your question to be answered on air or as part of the monthly bonus episode, the Millennial Brunch $500 croissant, you can also join up in our Slack channel and talk about basketball or whatever else you want to around the clock with me and other listeners. Patreon.com/fastbreakbreakfast. It is now time for the awards segment of the program. The International Stackhouse of Pancakes Award, given each week to the worst performance in a box score. We have a few honorable mentions. Javonte Green, who has to shoot because there's no other players on the Pelicans. He and Dante DiVincenzo had a 1 for 10 game. Royce O'Neal, 2 for 12. Austin Reeves, 3 for 15. Dennis Schroeder and Grady Dick, 4 for 17. Cade Cunningham, 6 for 21. There are 3 nominees this week. Here they are as they occurred chronologically. Brandon Miller in a loss to the Magic, 3 for 18.
Oof.
Woo. 8 points, 7 assists, 3 rebounds, 2 turnovers. 2 steals, 3 turnovers, 2 personal fouls. Jalen Suggs in a win against the Pacers. 2 for 15, 8 points, 3 assists, 2 rebounds, 2 steals, 2 blocks, 4 turnovers, 3 personal fouls. And finally, Klay Thompson on Sunday in the victory against the Thunder. 1 for 11, 5 points, 3 rebounds, 2 steals, 1 block, no turnovers, no personal fouls, perhaps try. So we have Brandon Miller, 3 for 18, 8.7 assists. Jalen Suggs, 2 for 15, 8 points, 2 steals, 2 blocks. Klay Thompson, 1 for 11, 5 points, 2 steals, no personal fouls.
Got to be Klay. You got
So
one job, buddy.
it's not great. It's not looking great for Klay.
No.
I would put my weight behind Brandon Miller just because a 3 for 18 is the more statistically rare occurrence. Yes, Klay, if you go from like Basketball Reference's game score, is worse. I mean, 1 for 11, 5 points, and basically nothing. Also, no fouls. That's a personal thing.
Yeah.
I don't mind splitting it. I would say 3 for 18. If you want to give it to Klay, I'm happy to split it.
I just think the job is so easy.
It's true. Dave, is it time to update our how much better is Klay Thompson than Tim Hardaway Jr. Information?
Yes.
So Tim Hardaway Jr. ended up on the Pistons. He's been starting. He had a scary head injury this week. I believe he's doing better. He's fine.
The CT scan was negative, which is a good thing.
It came across
when they're looking at your brain, but
it came across like an Arrested Development doctor joke.
Yes.
Like news on Tim Hardaway's head scan, negative.
Amazing what you can do, you know.
I in the preseason made the controversial take / ask the question: how much better are we sure that Klay Thompson is better than Tim Hardaway Jr.? I'm just asking questions. Well, so far this year, Dave, Tim Hardaway Jr. is making 2.7 threes per game, shooting 46% from the 3-point line for a Pistons team with 7 wins. And the other corner, Klay Thompson, is making 3 3-pointers per game, shooting 36% from 3 for a Mavericks team who also has 7 wins. Thus concludes how much better is Klay Thompson actually going to be than Tim Hardaway Jr. The Pistons are 6-4 this month, Dave. Anyways, all right, we'll split it. Klay Thompson, 1 for 11, 5 points. Brandon Miller, 3 for 18, 8 points. You guys both win this week's International Stackhouse.
3 for 18 is impressive. That's impressive.
Quite impressive.
Yeah.
All right, it's now time for the serial-themed power rankings. I mean, the big movers this week for me, I would say there's a lot of bad teams where I'm just like, you know what? Bad with honor. Everyone's bad with honor. And I like that. I like the fact that the Trail Blazers won some basketball games. I like the fact that the Raptors are going down to the wire, even though they're absolutely terrible.
Utah finally won some games.
Utah winning. Good job. They got to come a little bit competitive against the Clippers. Meanwhile, there's these like middling teams that just keep trucking along. Like the Clippers, I think are pretty okay.
Yeah.
The Hawks, okay. I think if we're talking about teams moving from the Cracklin' Oat brand, maybe up to a middle tier grape nuts, it's the Pistons. I mean, now 7 and 8, you're no longer just bad with honor. I think you're a ceiling play-in team. The Spurs, they'd been nominated last week. Maybe I'm just like not sure what to make of them. They're in most of their games. They're still a very competitive. What's the record? They're a 6 and 8. I'm giving them ceiling play in as well, moving them out of the bad tier. Wow. What do we do? We've already talked a lot about the Bucks, but like, I know it's just a sixth of the season and the East is so bad they can bounce back, but like they have other guys outside of Middleton and they're just losing every game.
They're just not good.
Yeah. So I feel like, do I drop them into the ceiling play-in? Because that feels weird. I still in my head don't feel like I feel like they're a better overall team just because I love Giannis and fear him. Or it feels weird to like do a power ranking where they're the same tier as like the Hawks and the Pistons. But I mean, they're right now behind them in the standings. So I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, I have them above the Pistons.
Yeah.
You just have to.
I guess
you have to assume they'll be better, but
right.
I don't know, man. The wheels fall off for teams all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard. It's hard for them because I think if Dame doesn't, get a concussion, they probably don't have the week that they have.
Yep.
They're not 4-9, almost for sure. So I think we probably just got to leave them where they're at and wait until Dame is back, because now they're down Dame and Middleton, and anyone down two of their three or four best players is gonna look bad.
Yeah.
So I think they're a little bit fake bad, but they are. I don't. There's stuff there with them, like offensively. Again, taking the whole not having Dame last week. There's just some stuff where there's just no juice in their offense. No one's moving, standing around, and please, Giannis, do something. And that's not going to work. Got to see what it looks like when everybody comes back. But Middleton, like, I don't expect to see him before Christmas. And if he's not back until what, February? Is that shocking at this point? I mean, we've heard nothing.
That would be shocking because they haven't given an injury update. Like they haven't said like he'll be reevaluated after 2 weeks. He's been essentially day to day since before the season began. And that part makes it weird. That's where you get your gamblers mad at you. That's where you get your fantasy basketball players mad at you. And then the fan base, we're just like, can we have any clarity? Like, where is this guy? Why didn't you say he would miss 3 weeks to start the season? And when is he not coming? Like, I mean, he could play this week, technically. I don't think he's obviously not in any 5-on-5. I feel like I heard a whisper. He's doing 3-on-3. Okay. So 3-on-3. I don't know. Yeah. The Bucks are weird. Good. The Sixers being 2-10, even with the players in and out of the lineup now with Embiid, he's sick. There's obviously an illness going through the NBA. I don't know whether it's, is it actually COVID, who no one has gotten officially in the NBA in 2 years? Or is it just a stomach bug? But you keep seeing a lot of guys missing games with illness. And then like there's the Heat, and I consider like the Heat, the Bucks, and the Sixers. These are legacy good teams for like a decade.
But the Heat are not a good team.
That's to say, none of these teams have juice.
Right.
So you're just like, but what's the difference? Why are the Heat a bad team and the Sixers we expect?
I mean, the Sixers at least have good players. They're just not playing.
Okay.
And I think like Jimmy Butler, yeah, he doesn't play a lot, but he hasn't really been effective when he's played.
Yeah.
It's not like when they've been at full health this year in like the whatever 3 games or whatever it is that the Heat have looked great.
Yeah. All those teams, I feel like I'm docking, like the Heat are moving. They have been downgraded. They were like one of the teams, my 12 teams in my bowl of Cheerios competitive fray right in the middle, where like all these 12 teams, it's injury luck, it's shooting luck, but they're all pretty good. No, they're not pretty good. I don't think they're pretty good. I think there's something worse than that.
Like their ceiling's what, 9 seed, 8 seed?
Yeah. Their ceiling play in. Enjoy your time around the Pistons and the Hawks in my fake power rankings. One team that I am promoting out of this middle fray into slightly better. This is a team where I wish I planted my flag a little harder in the preseason. I mean, I planted my flag. I said this team was going to be good. I said this team might win a ton of games in the regular season. I wish I went even harder. That's the Houston Rockets.
Yeah.
Houston Rockets are now 9-4.
10-4.
Love it. 10-4.
Got an extra win.
Yes. They have won 5 straight games. Dylan Brooks is second in the NBA in plus minus behind Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I love all the people who hated Dylan Brooks on the Grizzlies. I assume they're all screaming he can't keep getting away with it. Plus minus God, Dylan Brooks, his entire career. How does he do it, Dave? Luckiest man on earth.
Houston is 5th in net rating right now.
I mean, net rating leads me astray because the Grizzlies are super high in net rating. But like the Rockets' formula of being awesome at defense and then just having dogs, like it's working.
Ben Thompson grabbed a rebound, an uncontested rebound.
Yeah.
In their game yesterday. And I had the quad box up and I had the main game on a different screen. And him grabbing that rebound caught my eye in the quad box on the TV.
Yeah.
From the corner of my eye, caught my eye, and I rewound it. And he's just athletic, like dumb athletic on basic stuff. and finding a way to use him. Tari Eason has just been incredible.
He's so good.
The list of people who are doing what he's doing this year is like 2 people with the steals and making shots and getting blocks. That team, they are an aggregation team, in my opinion. Like they've just got so many guys, and you're going to have to, as you whittle it down, I think they do have moves to make. I just don't know who you would move.
I don't know either. I mean, Cam Whitmore's not even playing that much.
Yeah.
I thought some of their success was also going to be because Reed Shepherd and Steven Adams would be big boosts off the bench. Even those guys aren't doing that much. Right now, the formula is the starters, Şengün, Fred VanVleet, just doing work. Everybody else is just good on the roster. And then off the bench, it's like you unleash Amin Thompson and Tari Eason, and you're just like, hey, go mess that other team up right now.
It's insane. It's crazy.
They're awesome. So I think, man, the Rockets are definitely need to be, I guess, acknowledged as slightly above the fray and are one of the better teams in the West. And then the Warriors, again, you and I both planted our flag. We expected a lot. Their combination of defense and depth and Steph Curry, they're first in the West right now. So those teams definitely very, very impressive. Are there any other movers or shakers? I'm trying to think. I feel like
not really.
No one else changed my thought of them. I do think the Knicks are going to be totally fine. They're just so shallow. It's like Karl Anthony Towns falls hard and you're like, uh-oh. Like,
where are you on Minnesota?
So losing back to back to the Trail Blazers, not ideal. And of course, I'm closely watching Mike Conley. They are finally playing Rob Dillingham, which is just like, you have to. The season is long.
It makes a huge difference when
get him out there.
He's the only other guy that gets 2 feet in the paint. It's Anthony Edwards, it's Rob Dillingham, and then Naz Reid when he gets to attack a closeout. That's the only guys that get 2 feet in the paint. And it just makes a huge difference for them because they won't run an offense for some reason. It's just a bunch of guys dribbling around. But yeah, Dillingham's got to play. I don't think you put him in the starting lineup. I think you maybe think about going with Nickeil Alexander-Walker if you're going to replace, at this point, if you're going to replace Conley, just to get the extra defense. But yeah, Dillingham needs to play more.
I don't even think you need to replace Conley. It's just you're looking for more spark somewhere. Yeah. And I don't know exactly how that's going to happen. It does feel like they have to keep leaning on, like, you got to get DiVincenzo as many minutes as possible and figuring out the way that you have. It might just be playing Conley fewer minutes, but I still feel like with those top 6 or so guys, it's going to work out fine. I still think they're up there as far as the best teams in the West. I'm not super worried about them at all. They had some, I guess maybe you call it shooting regression games. They made a ton of threes their last 2 games to get some wins. The Suns, they lost on that buzzer beater by Julius Randle. The Suns, no KD. So
yeah,
it's just,
and that game was a weird game. Like they probably shouldn't have really been in it. So many turnovers for them, but Booker was just lights out. And that actually, Booker is the guy who highlights to me some of the big issues for Minnesota. He attacked Conley. He attacked Julius Randle. Neither one of those guys could guard him. And if you got 2 targets on the court, and this is not even mentioning Rudy Gobert and knowing that trying to get him out in space that you can attack the basket, I just think Minnesota's going to have some decisions to make. But Phoenix, with Beal and KD, when they come back, I don't know, I feel better about Phoenix for some reason after this few games without those guys.
I've been pretty high on Phoenix all year. Maybe they had some clutch luck early in the year where they won all their close games, but I kind of trust in that. They have so many just decently solid players. I thought they had a very short leash with Royce O'Neal. Where it was
that's been a little weird.
Where it was like, I don't know, he has a bad game, and then all of a sudden it's like, no, Josh Okogie, you go play 30 minutes. It's like, I like Okogie, but we kind of know what Okogie is. I think we know what Royce O'Neal is. Just stick with your guys. And I don't know. Budenholzer knows what he's doing, so I guess don't need to second guess there. Anyways, on that, I think we can wrap it up, Dave. Thanks as always for coming on. Listeners, if you want to support the show, patreon.com/fastbreakbreakfast. You guys are the best. And remember, breakfast is the most important thing.
Yeah, never apologize for being G&G. Fast break, man. You understand?